We love hip hop.
This actually brings me to a segment about the war on drugs, because I watched this channel, and low-key, I think the channel's AI. It's called the infomercial channel or infographic channel. If anybody of you in the chat knows what the infographic channel is, let me know. Okay, but I watch this channel all the time, right? And they talk about different subjects that are going on, the Great Recession, why Gen Zs are not as enthusiastic as boomers, all different types of things, okay, different subjects. And one of the subjects that they were talking about is something that I actually was hearing about on the Van Lathan, on the Higher Learning podcast with Van Lathan and Rachel Lynn Lindsay, about the drug cartels getting killed by the American government. Okay, it's not happening in Canada, but a lot of these drugs are being exported or imported into Canada and then exported to other places. They're coming up through the pipelines from Mexico. Bro, they guys like him that we just did the reaction to, they're not trying to lock them up no more. Now they're just straight killing these niggas. So let me pull some shit up. Okay. And they basically what would they call it? A state of emergency.
300 Americans die every single day from drug poisonings. After years of watching the toll rise, the nation has finally had enough. Now the United States is at war, one designed to last a single day, and it's sending a message its enemies can't ignore. Officially, it's a counter-drug mission. Unofficially, it looks like the first strike in a one-day war plan aimed straight at the cartels and the regime that shields them. And the justification is grim. Fentanyl is now the leading cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. Deadlier than car accidents, approaching the lethality of COVID at its peak, and more devastating than any foreign terrorist group in 2 decades. In congressional hearing rooms, DEA administrators don't sugarcoat it. Lab testing now shows 6 out of every 10 seized fentanyl pills now contains a lethal dose. The cartels which produce and transfer these drugs across American borders have been getting more brazen by the decade. And Washington? Well, Washington is done asking nicely. As Joint Task Force Southern Spear, led by the USS Gerald R. Ford, steams south, something far bigger than a single deployment is beginning to take shape. It's the opening phase of a broader operational blueprint, synchronized, crushing action across 3 fronts: law enforcement blitzes, financial strangulation, and military-grade intelligence operations, all designed to hit cartels simultaneously everywhere all at once. It's 5 a.m. in 23 American cities, and swarms of DEA agents, local SWAT teams, FBI task.
Okay, so I'll put into the poll here. Is it okay for the gov to murk cartels? All right, now keep in mind, when they go and do some of these things that they're going to explain in this video here, it's not necessarily that they're going to go and, like, let's say they go bomb a ship, blow up a whole ship because, cartel members are on there or they're smuggling drugs on the ship. Does that necessarily mean that everybody on the ship is a cartel member? Like the crew, the staff, everybody's all cartel? Or that they're all guilty people? Maybe the cartel bought the ship and now they're like, you're helping us transport this shit or else. Do these guys have to die too? I'm just asking. I'm just putting more possibilities in there before y'all just make the decision on the polls.
Forces and Homeland Security investigators are all placing breaching charges on doors. Without warning, they storm in through the blast. In Chicago, a Sinaloa distribution cell's safe house yields 440 pounds of fentanyl powder. In Phoenix, agents seize millions of cartel cash stuffed in drywall. In New York, Boston, and LA, cartel money couriers find themselves face down on the pavement, hands zip-tied, watching years of prison time materialize before their eyes. It's the first prong of Operation Overdrive unfolding in real time.
Okay, so Operation Overdrive, first prong, arrest a bunch of people, try to squeeze the different people to try to find the people at the top. Old school shit, all right? Elementary.
100 investigations, resulting in 3,300 arrests. They seized nearly 44 million fentanyl pills, more than 6,500 pounds of fentanyl powder, 8,500 money laundering network supporting the Sinaloa cartel. One target, Alberto David Bengat Jimenez, operates a money laundering network that's moved over $50 million to date.
Okay, I'm not going to get into all of who these guys are and whatever.
Money from Culiacan to Shanghai to LA, you need to access banks that can process dollar transactions, and every major bank on earth wants access to the U.S. financial system. named the Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation Cartel and would allow the president to use, quote, all necessary and appropriate force.
Okay, here we go. This is where it gets crazy.
Possible threats, but it's not surprising. In January 2023, Reps Dan Crenshaw and Mike Waltz introduced an authorization for use of military force, or AUMF, resolution to allow the president to use military force against the cartels. The AUMF specifically named the Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation Cartel and would allow the president to use, quote, all necessary and appropriate force. Crenshaw's pitch, we must start treating them like ISIS, he said, because that is who they are. Yeah, it's
all necessary and appropriate force.
Sparked controversy. Mexican President Lopez Obrador accused Crenshaw of warmongering, but it was a firm signal of where U.S. policy was headed. Waltz explained the resolution as necessary because cartels had exceeded the capacity of law enforcement and were a virtual paramilitary arm in their own right, armed with armored vehicles, heavy weapons, and billions of dollars at their disposal. And it's not just talk. Since early September, Operation Southern Spear has carried out more than 20 air and naval strikes on vessels Washington says are drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing over 80 suspected traffickers. The Pentagon says many of those targets are tied to Venezuelan groups like Tren de Aragua and to Colombian guerrillas moving cocaine north by sea. In 2024 alone, U.S. and allied officials estimated that 350 to 500 tons of cocaine were leaving Venezuela each year, much of it via Caribbean routes toward North America and Europe. Now, the Ford Carrier Strike Group has sailed in, joining the party of amphibious ships, cruisers, destroyers.
Right, so this is what they're coming with now for the cartel guys, right? They've been able to use military force to be able to come through now, fly freaking jets, tanks, whatever they need, and just blow these niggas up, which is crazy.
35s and patrol aircraft. For scale, it is nearly 1/5 of all U.S. Navy warships currently deployed worldwide. At the same time, the State Department is calling Cartel de las Soles a foreign terrorist organization after already slapping the same label on Tren de Aragua. In other words, the one-day war idea is no longer just about Mexican cartels and the southwest border. It's aimed at transnational cartel systems stretching from the jungles of Colombia through Venezuela's corrupted state networks across the Caribbean and into U.S. ports and cities. And it is terrifying to cartels. Modern cartels look chaotic from the outside, but inside they are surprisingly structured. In Mexico, you have your classic plaza boss or jefe de plaza running each territory. Under him, mid-level lieutenants manage local enforcement teams, chemists, transport crews, and money handlers. In the U.S., the network stretches into distribution cell managers in major cities, stash house operators, and financial coordinators, moving money through banks, shell companies, and crypto. It's the exact same pattern you'll see with the Venezuelan and Colombian linked networks. You might see prison-based leadership in Tren de Aragua or local cell bosses scattered from Chile to Canada. In Venezuela, that might mean state-embedded protectors inside of the country's own security forces and Cartel de las Soles. When the state hits one of those nodes hard, the system stutters. Take the January 2023 recapture of Ovidio Guzman Lopez, one of the leaders of the Sinaloa cartel and son of El Chapo. Mexican forces grabbed him in Culiacan after a massive operation involving helicopters and armored vehicles, triggering hours of gun battles and road.
So they're just going through killing the niggas now. But I want to get to some of the way that, okay, right here. The way that these guys are just hitting ships off the ports now.
Geography is both a blessing and a trap. There are only so many viable corridors, specific land ports of entry at the U.S.-Mexico border, where most fentanyl is smuggled in vehicles and on people. Likewise, there are specific maritime routes from Colombia and Venezuela through the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific routes, where cocaine and poly drug loads ride go-fast boats to their market of choice. As the U.S. floods those lanes with surveillance aircraft, naval patrols, and random missile strikes, it chokes the map. Sure, cartels can reroute, but every detour means longer trips, more expenses, more fuel, more bribes, and higher chances of being spotted. Insurance costs and risk premiums inside the underworld spike. Soon, smaller players get priced out, but the bigger ones still face tougher questions from their own investors and allies. Can you get the shipment through? The cartel.
Right, so now they got to worry about a whole different problem, because it's like, yo, if you're just killing us, I don't know if I can get that shipment up there anymore, bro. Like every time we get on the water with the shipment, they kill us. I don't know if it's affecting. I haven't been in the streets for a while, so I don't know what the prices are these days. I don't know if they've probably gone up because of inflation, obviously. but like recently, because of this state of emergency or this military order that they put on now, has made the prices even go up more? I'm not asking any of you guys to answer in the chat. Don't even incriminate yourself. All right. Let me read this over here. Salute to 246_stunner said, yo, they got fishermen in Trini, Venezuela, don't want to go fishing. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. It's not just like cartel members that they're hitting. They're like, oh, fisherman boat, bung. You might be a cartel member.
Have seen governments go big before. In 2008, DEA's Project Reckoning targeted the Gulf Cartel and its allies with coordinated sweeps across the U.S., Mexico, and Italy. Over 500 people were arrested, including major lieutenants, and authorities seized around 16 tons of cocaine and $60.1 million in cash. A similar operation, Project Deliverance, resulted in more than 2,200 arrests and over 150 million seized. Now, imagine that kind of multi-country shock, plus a carrier strike group offshore and drones hunting your boats at night. When raids, seizures, and airstrikes all hit within hours, nobody in the organization knows what the government actually knows. Is that banker under indictment talking?
Okay, let me show y'all something. And let me know in the comments. 1 in the chat if y'all think that's AI. 2 in the chat if you think that's an actual real person narrating. Because I watch that channel like crazy. But then sometimes I sit and say to myself, am I listening to AI? But let me play something. I found something on Trump. Trump warns cartels after U.S. hits second drug. And I can't see the rest of the sentence for some reason. Where's my volume?
That you're getting ready to invade his country. President Maduro in Venezuela says that you're getting ready to invade his country. What is his message to him?
Well, I would say this right away. Stop sending Tren de Aragua into the United States. Stop sending drugs into the United States. We knocked off actually 3 boats, not 2, but you saw 2. And the problem is there are very few boats out in the water.
Hold on, let me read this comment over here. Salute to Brian Russell. He heard, okay, he doesn't know personally, he heard that it's a drought out here right now, okay?
There are not a lot of boats out in the water. I can't imagine why. Not even fishing boats. There's nobody. Nobody wants to go take a fish. So it's one of those things. But
this man's proud of that shit. Like, they don't even want to go fishing. We got him shook.
I would say to him very strongly, stop sending people from your prisons into our country. They're sending their prisoners. They've done that already. So the numbers just came out. Another month with 0 people getting into our country.
Jesus Christ. This guy's the real demon, too. Moments before. Look at this. Look at this. Bomba clot. Dun, 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 dun. Look at this shit. This is moments before alleged or and after alleged drug boat or whatever. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the shit blows up. There's no volume on there. Oh shit, I think it does blow up. Ooh! Damn! Holy shit. This is how they're moving right now, bro? It doesn't pay to be a drug dealer. I'm saying. $11 people killed in the strike. Damn. Guys are just murking off everything, bro. Holy.
The president is going to be on offense against drug cartels and drug trafficking in the United States. It destabilizes not just the country, but the entire Caribbean basin.
Not a close-up. Don't give me a close-up. I'm going to have to cut it out the video. Hold on. President Trump said in a post, please let them serve. So this serve as a notice. Anybody who's thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America, beware. We're going to bomb your ass. We're going to boom you, nigga. Okay, I don't even want to see anymore. I feel like I bought in too much death onto my YouTube screen today. Holy shit, man. Let that be a warning to any of y'all out there. And if you're trying to join the cartel, you might want to look for another type of another business, another company to join, bro. Citalo is kind of busy right now, fam. And listen, salute to anybody who might be connected over here in Canada, over here in Toronto. Just leave me alone, fam. I'm just reporting on what I see. Okay, Somali pirates taking notes. Fam, they're getting them too. If you got any drugs in that boat, if there's any, fam, what are you even doing on these waters where usually the drug boats are? Get, boom. Oh, sorry. Oh, there was no drugs on the boat. My bad. Wrong place, wrong time. This is what's happening right now, fam. Just be aware. That's all I'm just putting it out there for the people to know. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out these other videos on the screen and make sure to like and subscribe.
We love hip hop.